Hey guys, Insomnia here with some more AFK Arena. Today we are back on the pay to win account and we are taking a look at our artifacts. A lot of players from the stream last night said we really want to see where the artifacts go, on which heroes, who has the utility. Quick disclaimer here, a lot of the heroes can use different relics depending on the campaign stages that you're fighting, situations that you have. Just like you seen yesterday, we did swap a lot of relics up. So let's take a quick look at the relics themselves. As you see now, they actually live right in your bag. So Dura's Eye is crit and physical resistance as well as attack speed, which is very good for a lot of different heroes. When we look at burst heroes, such as Khazard, such as Mahira, such as Gwen, Sophia, big damage hero. Iran also, crit and physical resistance makes a big difference. As you can see at maximum 5 stars, haste is increased as well, which is very, very powerful. Dura's Chalice, which is our second artifact, definitely tank heavy, meaning that most of the tanks will use this relic. It is one of the most sought after, as you can see, hit points and defense, and it comes with its own built-in heal that restores health over time. Even max out restores 1.5% health per second for 45 seconds, so it does bring a heal over time effect. Dura's Call is the biggest, most important artifact because of haste. Effects casting and attack frequency. Higher value will result in higher attack frequency and attack animation, and also that translate into more energy as you have more haste. It also does bring magic resistance as well. But one note, the really big note on Dura's Call, and this is the only artifact that suffers from this, effects of this ability are reduced by 15% for every other ally currently within the same formation that equips this artifact. Meaning that if you're running the twins, if you're running Rowan together, there is going to be a 15% reduction for each ally that is using it overall. Not sure if the benefit is going to return. It possibly could be running 2 heroes with the call. Ideally, if you're running more than 2, the benefit will probably be almost nullified because of the built-in nerf that they put into Dura's Call. But as you can see, restores 16 energy points per second. If slain, all remaining energy is shared among the allied heroes. Very, very powerful artifact because, again, energy results in ults, and it does come with haste, which is powerful. Dura's Conviction, crit and accuracy. Accuracy is really good on some heroes such as Leica. Her plus 20 signature item works perfectly with the accuracy, which we'll go through the heroes in a minute. I just wanted to cover the artifacts really quick. Increase the wearer's attack rating by 5%, 7%. Level 5 unleashes a shockwave every 15 seconds that knocks enemies back, which is very, very powerful. So this is just straight more damage with attack rating. Then we have Dura's Grace. Dodge and hit points. This artifact is not used very much. The Divine Shield is not very powerful. The level 5 is decent. Divine Shield offsets up to 220% damage and prevents any mind control effect, which is pretty powerful. But this artifact is not used very much because dodge isn't very much, and 15 points of dodge is not very much at all when it comes to dodge. When you have heroes that are running 500, 600, 700 dodge, 15 points doesn't really make a difference. The Blade is the second, if not the most important artifact in the game on scaling heroes. Brings accuracy and attack, but it is scaling. Once the battle begins, attack rating increased 1% every 3 seconds. Then it goes to 1% and accuracy by 2 every 3 seconds. Then the final one, increased attack rating by 1.5% and accuracy by 3 for every 3 seconds. So with the battles being a minute and a half long, the further that you get down, the stronger and stronger this artifact is going to get. And then our final one is Dura's Drape. This is for the health recovery heroes. So if you have a hero that does recover health naturally, such as a Taylene comes to mind, Damon does have health recovery. Mahira does. Arthur does with a plus 30 signature item. This can be an artifact to equip on them, but a majority of the time you'll use different artifacts that are more beneficial. So a lot of times with the Drape, people will replace it with the Chalice, essentially, especially now that we can share them without having any nerf. So the Vitality fares better than the Drape actually does. So 2 artifacts, the Drape and the Grace, not many heroes use. So let's go ahead and we will take a look at the heroes themselves. So Iran, we do have him here with the blade. Overall, probably not the best choice. I do like its scaling, but remember, he is a burst hero, meaning that a better artifact for him would actually be the eye. The simple reason is with the eye, he gets crit, which again, he is burst. He'll vortex heroes in, he has to live, which comes from the physical resistance. Attack speed is also increased. Remember, he also does a slow, meaning that he will do phenomenal when it comes to Dura's Eye overall, as well as a lot of our burst heroes will, such as, let's go ahead and look through the list. Saurus does really well with it. I want to go through the hero list. So Iran does really well with Dura's artifact. So looking here, overall, when you look at the factions, Cecilia does really well with it. Gwen does well with it. Sophia does well with it. Any of the heroes that are going to deal burst damage and heavy damage for the casters because of the attack speed. So attack speed, they're going to go ahead and get more energy regen, so we can equip it on her. I'm looking here, Saurus does really good. Saurus does well with the blade too. The blade would probably be the first preference for Saurus overall. Rose also does really well with the overall increase to attack rating. Here, Pharrell does really well with the attack rating. Any hero that you want to go ahead and put out more damage, especially with the attack rating overall, will do really well with this artifact. So we'll go ahead and we will put it on Grez. Like I said, there's a lot of heroes this will work on. It'll work on Skarath really well. It'll work on casters really well. A lot of the damage dealers, it will do well with this artifact. So even here. So let's take a look at a couple of the other artifacts, such as the blade. The blade is another one that is hugely popular, but this is a scaling artifact, meaning the heroes that scale will get more benefit from this over time. So looking at our scaling heroes, you have quite a few scaling heroes. Overall, some of the big ones, of course, Saurus. Saurus does really good as he goes through time. So if you're lasting the battle the minute 30, Blade on Saurus will increase his damage incrementally. Taylene, of course, huge scaling hero. You have Isolde. Isolde is another huge scaling hero, which I don't have built here, but Isolde scales with time, meaning the further he gets into the battle, the more damage he is going to be doing. Also, some of the other heroes, like I said, with Gwen up here, either one of the artifacts are going to do well with her, because either it's going to be damage over time where her scaling damage, or she's going to have faster attack, which results in better energy. You also have a couple here. Titus does well with it, again with damage. When you look at some of the other heroes, Pharrell does really well with it with damage. Again, some of them are kind of interchangeable. Leica will do really well with it, just for the simple fact that it does provide accuracy boosts in there, plus the scaling over time. So a lot of heroes can use this. Athalia will do really good, especially because she's a really big burst hero. There's a lot of different combinations that you can use, especially when it comes to Nakaruru, when it comes to a couple other heroes. You can definitely use this on. I've even put it on Arthur. That's what I ran on my main account. Even though he's a tank, if you have issues with survivability, and this is where the guides get a little bit different, I guess, for let's say even Yukio, or let's go to a different hero. Let's go to our tank. So here's Arthur. Arthur, Chalice. Chalice would be the ideal one to go ahead and put on Arthur. As you can see, we had Damon in here. We had Taylene in here. Because if you have issues with survivability, this is primarily a tank, meaning that overall you're going to be using it on Lucius, you're going to be using it on Hendrik, you're going to be using it on Arthur. Any of the very solid tanks, you're going to be using it on. Especially like Scrag to increase his survivability. You can put the Chalice on any hero that you need to survive. And this is again where it kind of comes into play with what you're doing. For instance, I run the Chalice sometimes on Iran just for the simple fact that I need the survivability for him to live in a battle. So it is a tanking relic. If you're having issues with your hero surviving, it can make a very, very big difference. Even a lot of times I do run it on Damon. As you've seen when we just logged in right here to the artifact, I was running it on him because he has a tendency to die. I know there are other relics that he does really well with, but overall issues with survivability, I will go ahead and I will put the Vitality Chalice on him. So looking at a couple of our other heroes, Nakaruru, for instance, I've used the Grace on quite a bit just for the fact that the dodge and the hit points. But like I was saying earlier, when you have a hero, so dodge is 592 points, this adds 15. So the dodge is totally mitigated with the Grace. And now with having the ability to actually use different artifacts, the Grace, I do not think is going to be used anymore. For her, I would much rather use Jura's Eye than the Grace because of the attack speed. The faster she can attack, the faster that she can get energy, the faster that she attacks, the faster she can stun heroes. So overall, I would put the Eye on her, and the Grace would actually be backseated to a lot of different heroes, essentially. Some of the other heroes, of course, the other thing that you can run with Leica, and a lot of people do, is Dura's Conviction. Because of the crit and accuracy, again, running it on Flora, I run it all the time on Lorzen, I run it when I run Falks, I've ran it a lot on Pharrell, but now having the ability to split the artifacts, it's going to be a big, big game changer overall for the artifacts. So Drape, again, we don't really use very much. Some of the places that you could use the Drape would be, I would think, situations, again, with healing heroes. So if you have your Taylene, if you have your Mahira, Damon, Almas, some of your tanking healing heroes, Arthur with a plus 30 signature item, it might be effective on. And then, of course, our final one, which is the most important, the one that we talk about is the Call. Dura's Call, again, because of the energy regen, that is why they had to build in a nerf, because they knew it was going to be super powerful. For heroes, you can literally go down the line and pick heroes in every faction that you can use it. Rowan is absolutely phenomenal with it. When you come here, I run it on Nemitsu, on the Maulers, because again, the energy regen for his ultimate ability to heal. This one, I run it a lot of times with Tassie, so she can go ahead and get her ult up to put everyone to sleep. I run it on Namora, that way she gets more heals. Even on the Graveborn, we have a couple heroes. I've run it on Thorin, so we can make sure that we get his Thorin cheese off. More than once, I've ran it on Pharrell as well, just to get his ult to stay with the energy disintegration. I've ran it on Grez to make sure that we get up his minions kind of as fast as possible. Even here, running it on Taylene as a super support healer, and the twins are the other hero that you definitely want to run it on. The most vital, Rowan, Tassie, twins, and I would definitely say running it on Aziz. Aziz is another hero. Aziz, even though he is kind of a tank class, he's a lot of support and a big, huge energy battery. So running the Call on him is very powerful as well. So you have a lot of heroes, pretty much any heroes that are the support class or the support tree, it works really well on. Even looking here, I mean, there's just, like I said, it's tough to make a guide like this because visually there's so many heroes from so many different trees. And even, for instance, from the Elder Tree, when you look here and you look at the support class itself, when you look at Dura's Call, pretty much all of these heroes, except possibly here with Rose, which Rose I would probably run a stronger, running either the Blade or running the Eye on her. Most all of these heroes, her and Taylene are probably the two exception to support would use or could use very, very effectively the Dura's Call. On the sorcery, it is mainly burst. So this is mainly using the eye. All of these heroes are majority burst damage, so really focusing on the burst damage here. Rangers are usually either burst damage with the eye or the blade is a majority of what these hero classes are going to hold. On the tanking classes, it is Dura's Vitality, it is the Chalice. Overall, a majority of these heroes will use the Chalice to go ahead and build up their tanking ability, making sure they don't die, upping their defense, upping their hit points over time. And then with the Warrior Tree, it's kind of a blend because you do have some heroes that are specifically for tanking. A lot of heroes, like you have Saurus, you have Nara, that do really well, again, with damage. Using the Blade overall on Saurus, I either use the Blade or I use, again, the eye here. Isolde is definitely the eye because he is completely scaling. Same with Wukong. Scales, definitely using the eye. So overall, it's going to be a mix when it comes to Dura's Might. But pretty much splitting the relics, there's going to be two that you're not going to use. I really hope that it kind of set it straight a little bit on artifacts that you're going to be using for heroes. Again, most of the warriors, most of the rangers are either going to use the eye or they're going to use the blade, which between those two, they are definitely the damage dealing relics. You do have some of your casters, range casters, that are going to use the conviction, but not many. Overall, not too many, because now you can actually split these relics between multiple heroes in the formation without any of the benefit. The call is used for support. This is primarily a support item. Just be really careful. I would not recommend using more than two of Dura's Call just because of the built-in nerf they have with it. Then, of course, the Vitality is the Dura's Chalice for the Vitality on tanks overall. So like I said, it's kind of a general guide, and that's why it's difficult to do an artifact guide. A lot of them are situational. If you find that your heroes are dying because you have too much damage, either swapping out the heroes, either swapping out the artifact. There's a couple, such as Pharrell and Lyca, Iran, Thorin, Aziz, Taylene, a couple that kind of blend between different artifacts depending on the team comp that you're fighting and depending on kind of where you are in the campaign. So again, I really hope it helped a little bit to kind of clarify the artifacts, kind of what classes they go with, what heroes use, what artifacts that I've been kind of focusing on. So let me know in the comments down below what you think. And as always, thank you guys for watching.